2017 is finally over. This has been a pretty fucking fantastic year for film. They've had a lot of great movies, a lot of other ones, and a lot of films that have completely divided the community. Films like Mother, Blade Runner 2049, and Star Wars The Last Jedi. I did not see a few films that would be on a lot of people's lists. Here in Ireland we get a lot of the kind of movies that will get Oscar nominations, tons of them. We usually get them like between the end of January and the beginning of March. So films like The Shape of Water, Lady Bird, Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Phantom Thread will not be on this list. I didn't get the chance to see The Florida Project or Mother. When Lady Bird and Shape of Water comes out, I will probably leave a link in the description of those videos to my Letterboxd account, where you can see my updated list if they manage to make it on there, which I say they probably will. They've been getting fantastic reviews. This year has been an interesting year for film. I went to the cinema nearly 60 times this year, 59. I have a lot of honourable mentions. I saw a lot of films this year, a lot of great ones. So I'm going to get into my honourable mentions for the best of the year. Honourable mentions are Only the Brave, fantastic film, great performances all around. Granite Mountain Hot Shots are heroes. Paddington 2, just a fantastic feel-good film for Christmas. Loving Vincent, remarkable what the animation crew did with that film. The Wall I felt was very underrated. Aaron Taylor-Johnson was fantastic and John Cena was surprisingly really good. War from the Planet of the Apes was a small bit disappointing, but overall has fantastic special effects, fantastic performances, and the cinematography is really, really good. Kingsman: The Golden Circle I felt got hammered by critics. I had a ton of fun with that movie. The only problems I really had with it is it's a bit too over the top, and the opening action sequence is really bad. Guardians 2 I felt was a small bit disappointing, but overall it was good enough to where I bought it on Blu-ray and the Best Buy exclusive Groot Steelbook. And lastly we have Blade Runner 2049. So, I have 20 picks. I tried to narrow it down to 15, but then the honourable mentions list would be huge. So, coming in at number 20, we have... How does it feel to treat me like... Atomic Blonde starred Charlize Theron, James McAvoy, John Goodman, Sofia Boutella, tons of people, was directed by one of the directors of John Wick, and has some of the best action scenes I've seen all year, primarily the 6-minute unbroken take sequence. Charlize is fantastic, James McAvoy once again is at the top of his game. Just a really, overall, really fun movie. Coming in at number 19, speaking of the director of John Wick, John Wick Chapter 2, which was a film that I had the entire theatre to myself just to witness the glorious violence of this film. Keanu Reeves, his performance in the film is questionable, but you have to give the guy credit. He does so much of his own stunt work in it, and it's just so much fucking fun. At number 18, we have the return to form for a director who was kinda off the rails for a few years, but this movie gave us a fantastic performance and just a return to form for the director, and that is Split, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. This was the first 2017 movie I saw this year in January. Surprisingly, a really fantastic January movie. James McAvoy is fantastic. Anya Taylor-Joy, once again, proving she's a great up-and-coming actress. Betty Buckley was also really good. The only main flaw I have with this is it's not that rewatchable, but due to the ending of the film and the fantastic performances, it made the list. Check this one out, it's not getting enough Oscar consideration. Coming in at number 17 is a film that I personally loved. A lot of critics did like it a lot, but I think I'm one of the only people that really loved it. And I think David F. Sandberg did something really special with this that he did not accomplish that well with Lights Out, and that is it made me care about the characters. The characters in Lights Out were fine, but like, I really gave a shit about the kids in this. I don't know, I think I just saw it at the right time to where I was like, yep, Sandberg is going to be directing Shazam, I might as well see what he can do with this, and he did a fantastic job directing this. It's such a scary film, check it out. At number 16, we have a film that everyone thought was going to be terrible, then it came out and they were like, huh, it's actually pretty good. We have Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot was great as Diana Prince and Wonder Woman. Chris Pine was extremely entertaining. The action overall was fantastic. The CGI at times was a bit questionable and the villain was a bit iffy, but overall just a fantastic war film. It does borrow elements from other films, but as a return to form for Patty Jenkins and as a good DCEU movie, it paid off. At number 15, we have a film I do not own on Blu-ray because it hasn't not come out here yet, but I saw it in America, and I just had this feeling of dread leaving the theater. Wind River was directed by Taylor Sheridan, starred Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen and John Bernthal, etc., etc. And it has the best performance I've ever seen from Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. John Bernthal's great. The writing was just so sharp. It's such a disturbing movie, and with the ending text of the film, it just makes you sit there and you're like, that is fucking terrible. And it's so sad that this stuff actually happens, you know? And I think Taylor Sheridan did a fantastic job. The film will not get any Oscar nominations because it just did not come out at the right time. It came out in the summer, and he should have kept it until like late November because that's when it deserved to come out. At number 14, we have a fantastic film that has one of the best kid performances I've seen all year, and that is Wonder with Jacob Tremblay, Owen Wilson, and Julia Roberts. The makeup in this film was fantastic, but beneath all the makeup you have one of the best kid performances I've ever seen from Jacob Tremblay. He is better in Room, I will say, but this is another great performance from him, showing him that he is a great young actor, if Book of Henry and Room didn't prove that enough. At number 13, we have a film that is currently sitting right behind me on the wall. This was a film everyone was skeptical about because the last few Spider-Man movies admittedly have not been very good at all. But then this came out, and they were like, yeah, Tom Holland, he's kind of the best Spider-Man we've ever had. And this is, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man film ever made. It has a fantastic villain. The screenplay is hilarious. Tom Holland is sensational, as it says on the back. Overall, John Watts did a fantastic job with it. I cannot wait for its sequel. Number 12 was a film I don't think made enough money at all. I think that this is a gorgeous film that was just tons of fun to watch in the cinema. And that is Logan Lucky, Steven Soderbergh's most recent film with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. I think Daniel Craig deserves more Oscar consideration for this. This is honestly his best performance of his entire career. He's just so fucking entertaining. The screenplay for this is fantastic. Written by Rebecca Blunt, who has never written anything in her life, so I'm just assuming that that's Steven Soderbergh himself, because, you know, the cinematography is done by a man named Peter Andrews, who also just so happens to be Soderbergh himself. So, Soderbergh has a good few identities. Soderbergh might not even be his real name. We don't know, but one thing we do know, this film's really fucking good. At number 11, I nearly put this at number 10, but the number 10 I just enjoyed an awful lot more. This film has a lot to say about society. It's essentially the 2017 version of Moonlight. A great directorial debut from Jordan Peele. Daniel Kaluuya is fantastic in the film. All the acting all around was fantastic. The screenplay is one of the best of the year and it deserves to get nominated. I think this film is a bit overhyped. It's number 3 or number 4, something like that, on Rotten Tomatoes of all time, and the number 1 horror movie ever. I don't think it's that good. I think it's a great film with great performances, but it's nowhere near as good as like The Shining or anything like that. Still, Get Out's a fantastic film. Check it out. Number 10, we have a film that everyone thought was going to be the conclusion to a terrible trilogy, because the first 2 are not good at all. And then the director of What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilderpeople got attached, and people immediately became very excited, and it was well earned. Thor Ragnarok was one of the funniest films of the year, has one of the best performances by Chris Hemsworth. Jeff Goldblum is extremely entertaining, and it gave us Korg. I think that's all I need to say about that. It gave us Korg, the rock monster that makes tons of terrible puns, but the way he says them just makes it so good. Korg. One of the most original films I've seen all year. Another film by A24, my favorite product. Another film by A24, one of my favorite. Fuck! Another film by A24, my favorite production company ever. The Zafties directed this. They proved that they can really direct a thriller and make it so fucking entertaining yet grisly and grimy, and they just do things in this movie that no other director would want to do because they'd just be afraid that the theaters would pull it, which is why the film got a very limited release because of a certain scene, which I won't go into detail. Check out Good Time, has Robert Pattinson's best performances of his career. He deserves a nomination for it. At number 8 we have a very critically divided film. A film that I really enjoyed. Critics seem to enjoy. Audiences, however, fuck that. No. Star Wars The Last Jedi. No, we're not going to talk about that film. Nah. It sucks. Does not love lightsaber fights. No. Did Rian Johnson ever see The Force Awakens? No, he just, wrote a screenplay that he felt suited the story. You fucking idiots. Star Wars The Last Jedi is a great welcoming to the Star Wars franchise and opens up a lot of new doors for Episode 9 and the future episodes. Coming in at number 7, I feel, is the most underrated film of the entire year. This did not make enough money, and it did not receive enough critical praise. This film is gorgeous, extremely well directed, and acted from Dane DeHaan and Jason Isaacs. This was directed by Gore Verbinski, who made the first 3 parts of the Caribbean movies and Rango, and this is a very big departure because this film is incredibly fucked up, but it's so fucking original and so just weird. Critics are always begging for more original films, and then one like Cure for Wellness comes along and they trash it. And I just don't understand why. This is such a unique and original film that I think deserves more praise. Check out Cure for Wellness if you haven't. Even if you don't like it, just support the film. Dunkirk is a fantastic film from Christopher Nolan. Honestly, the scariest film I've seen all year, and it's not even a horror movie, it's just a war film where he puts you in the place of these characters and makes you feel the true horror that they went through. All the performances in this were fantastic. Cillian Murphy, Mark Rylance, Kenneth Branagh, Tom Hardy, understandably, is always very good, but he says about 2 words in this entire film. Even Harry Styles, out of all people, was fantastic in this film. Check this out. Nolan will probably get nominated for Best Director, and he deserves to win. Number 5, we have a film that, if it was not a superhero movie, it would be getting nominations across the board, without a doubt. It has, honestly, the best performance I've ever seen from its lead actor, and he starred in Prisoners. Logan is one of the best superhero films ever made. It's the best Marvel superhero movie ever made, in my opinion. And it's not even a superhero movie. It's a movie about a father and his daughter and just the shit times that they're going through. And they also have superpowers, but shut up about that. Hugh Jackman deserves an Oscar nomination for this. He won't get it because it's a superhero movie and it's incredibly violent. Logan, though, was just an incredible theatre experience. Hugh Jackman, fantastic. Daphne Keane, Patrick Stewart, everyone across the board was just outstanding in this film. One of the best superhero films I've ever seen. And I like violence, and this film delivered in that, so good job, James Mangold, you did good. At number 4, we have a film that I only watched for the first time last night. I purchased it having no clue what it was about other than that it has great reviews and you just need to watch it at some point. This is a film that audiences hated because they went in expecting a horror movie and they did not get that at all. This is not a horror movie. This is a apocalyptic drama about a family struggling to get by. One of their kids has elongated nightmares that are in the vein of a horror movie. That's the best way I can put this film, and if that appeals to you, check this film out. This is what The Walking Dead should be. This is like, I'm a fan of apocalyptic stuff. Like, I love the Walking Dead games. Shaun of the Dead is fantastic. The show itself is fine, but like, this is what I needed out of an apocalypse movie, because I had no clue what this was about going on. I just knew Joel Edgerton was in it, and I love Joel Edgerton. But this film is just incredible. Needs more Oscar consideration. Oh yeah, and it's made by A24, so there's your reason for seeing it. A24 is fantastic. Coming in at number 3, we have one of the most inspiring films I've ever seen. It's one of the best films I've seen in theaters ever, and it's about the worst film ever made. Directed by James Franco, starring James Franco and his brother Dave Franco. This was about The Room, the worst film ever made, directed by Tommy Wiseau. James Franco in this film plays Tommy Wiseau, and he gives the best performance I've seen by any actor all year. I guarantee he will get nominated, but if he does not win, I will personally go to the Academy myself and just take his shit on the stage. The truth is, I probably will. This is an incredibly inspiring film about people who have passion for what they're doing, even if what they're doing, admittedly, is not very good. Tommy Wiseau had the passion to do it, and this film captures that beautifully. In Franco's performance, Dave Franco was fantastic as Greg Sestero. Seth Rogen was extremely entertaining as the assistant director Sandy. Check out The Disaster Artist, another film by A24. At number 2, we have a film from one of my favorite directors of all time. It was one of the best cinema experiences I had all year. I saw it 3 times in theaters.
Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide.
Directed by Edgar Wright. Hang on a second. There we go. Baby Driver, directed by Edgar Wright. Such a fucking fun movie. Has some of the best action I've ever seen. Easily the best action I've ever seen in theaters. Ansel Elgort got a Golden Globe nomination for this. Understandably, he's fantastic. Jon Hamm, Jamie Foxx, Asa Gonzalez, Lily James, and the other guy. They're all really great. Jon Bernthal is in the film. He always has that supporting role that he's just there for like 4 minutes and then he's gone. All the acting in this is fantastic. The soundtrack is amazing. The editing deserves to win Best Editing. Sound mixing, acting, action, everything about this film. The fucking set direction, the costumes, they're all perfect. Baby Driver. So, you guys can probably guess what my number 1 is. My favorite film of the year, my most anticipated film of the year, the film that I have milked entirely for views, the film that really did impact me a lot. It really made me feel for these characters. If my shirt couldn't tell you enough...
We're the losers, and we're winning. We're the champions, we're so standing.
It, directed by Andy Muschietti, adapted from Stephen King's novel of the same name, which I purchased before seeing. I saw this film a total of 3 times in cinemas, 3 different tickets for the movie. This film left my jaw dropped at the end of the movie. All the actors in this film deliver such great performances. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is one of the best performances I've seen all year. I'd love for him to get an Oscar nomination for it, but he just won't, because it's a horror movie. All the kids in this film did a fantastic job. Jaden Lieberher is the best child actor working today. I will stand by that till the day I die. Finn Wolfhard was fantastic. Jack Dylan Grazer was extremely entertaining. Sophia Lillis was a fucking badass. Chosen Jacobs knows how to look scared, and he knows how to fucking intimidate. Jeremy Ray Taylor, you do a fantastic job in every scene you're in, and you tug on my heartstrings. Wyatt Olaf, your deleted scene should not have been deleted because you're great in the deleted scene. Every actor in this film, Nicholas Hamilton too, he's so great. He's so over the top, but he's so great. He's like me. All these films are all fantastic. They all impacted me in a special way, but it just left me I don't know, it just impacted me in such a way that I just want to watch that film almost every single day of the fucking week at this point. I love it entirely. I think it deserves a Best Adapted Screenplay nomination. That's the best it's gonna get. Like, costume design, I'm sure it'll get that. It'll get, like, the minor stuff like that, but it deserves much more because it's a great film. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking with me for this entire year. This has been a fucking roller coaster of a year for me, but this has been something that really helped me get through shit this year. Thank you guys for watching this year. Here's to a good 2018. Thank you guys for watching, and yep.
I'll see you guys in the next one, Georgie.